Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey everybody,
It's your guy TJ, Mr. New Cool.
and it's your girl Dani, your virtually vigorous vulture.
Okay.
Yes, you know I'm on it with my alliteration.
Yeah, triple V's out here.
Yeah, I was trying to pick a more obscure letter.
Okay.
How are you, my good sir?
I've had better days. And yourself?
I'm okay. Work is definitely ramping up, and I know that you're been a little stressed out.
Life happens. But before we get into it, we have a special guest.
Yes.
Uh, my cousin.
Yeah, it's a family affair.
You know, professional basketball player, or former professional basketball player, a legend in Richmond. And now he's a motivational speaker.
Yes, life coach, all of that.
So my cousin Braxton Byerson is on the line.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's going on?
You know, we used to not introduce people until later, but we were told that's kind of rude. And now we're going to introduce people early. So, if this is your first time listening to an episode of Lovers Quarrel, we welcome you. Thank you for taking the opportunity. Second time listening, welcome back. And if it's your third or more time, your family, as I like to call you, you're a lover.
Yes.
So
you want to jump right in?
We can jump right in. We're going to get on this elevator?
Yes, we're going to get on this elevator.
Are you going up or down?
I'm going to go up.
All right, so let me go down so we can get this out of the way.
All right, going down.
All right, appreciate that. I think I've talked about it previously, but I think I finally hit my wall. I loved working from home, but it's different when you're working from home, but you can't go anywhere, right? So like before, when I used to work from home, it didn't matter because I was able to just leave if I wanted to. But now it's like you're confined to your home, so you can't go anywhere. So I think I finally like hit that wall where I'm just like over it all. That, and then the senseless killings of Black people and the mistreatment of Black people. In the media, we're getting murdered. The cops don't like us. White people don't like us. Nobody likes us, right? Everybody they love our culture, but they don't love us.
Yep.
And I'm just tired of that as well. I'm tired that it's like we're in 2020 and it's still wrong to be Black. Like
Jim Crow.
So
yeah, I was talking. Before we recorded, we were talking to our other friends, and I was just like, "Yo, I when people talk about letting this bitch burn, I'm like, I get it now. Like, I'm not all that. Like, more and more of me is just like not opposed to just watching if everybody just is like fucking and revolted, and because it's infuriating and it's ridiculous, and like I'm tired, I'm angry, and I'm tired of being angry, and it's exhausting feeling like this all the time. So, justice for Ahmaud Arbery, justice for Breonna Taylor, like justice for everybody.
Justice for everyone who's facing injustices. Like at the end of the day, like how are injustices still happening during a pandemic? And that's, to me, that's even crazier. Like,
and you're watching like clear cut examples of white people getting away with fucking like playing all up in these white people's faces.
Yeah.
And I said that I feel like a couple episodes ago, but like playing in these white people's faces, pushing them, telling them no, having assault rifles on their back, and then nothing. But I watched a video of 5 or 6 NYPD officers tackling a mother to the ground in front of her young child, because her face mask wasn't all the way on. If you don't get the fuck out of my face, I'm sorry.
This is America. So we can go up.
Yeah. So
for you.
Yes. Going up. We're going to lighten it up a little bit. So y'all know and have been following my journey to my new path and my new career, not career switch, my job switch and everything like that. And, lately, obviously it's been a really interesting way to start a new job because I started literally at the top of the pandemic and everything shutting down. But even though I'm not doing exactly what it is that I was hired to do, I've been definitely making myself very useful to the different people and departments within the organization. And I've just been leveraging my strengths, and it feels really good to have opportunities and moments where like the things that you're good at, the areas of strength that you have are being leveraged in a way that are valuable to the organization. And, I've been kind of like recognized and, it's being seen and being acknowledged at my job, and that feels good. I know we've talked on this show plenty of times about love languages, but I think those same languages kind of um, they spill over into your other relationships, like your work relationships. And my like number two outside before first I'm acts of service, and my second one is words of affirmation. So it does make me feel like really validated when somebody tells me like, Dani, you're doing a good job. Dani, thank you. Dani, this was so helpful, because that's what I'm here to do, and it makes me feel fulfilled. So, it's been cool. It's been dope. And I appreciate it. So I'm holding on to that and choosing that as my elevator, because there's so many like shitty things to complain about and be upset about, but I'm gonna focus on that just to kind of lift my own damn spirits. So with that, we're going.
And Brax, do you have anything?
So
you want to
sorry.
go up? You want to go down?
Hey man, I'm just listening. I'm enjoying this combo right now. I'm just listening, man. Just taking it all in, boss.
All right. Well, thank you. But we are now going to switch and segue into our relationship tip of the week, where I provide you with meaningful, salient, sound, valid points to help you in yours, and TJ gives you a Snapple fact from under a cap.
I mean, listen, the fact that you gotta try to break me down to make yourself up there, I already won.
Sure, if that's what you want to call it.
Okay.
So, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go
You
first?
got it.
Okay. My relationship tip of the week is something that could apply to all the ships. And that's just to change the background sometimes to improve the mood, right? And that might seem like very limited as far as what we can do and can't do right now in the world of the Rona. But if you and your partner, and you and whoever you're living with, are kind of finding yourselves kind of a little bit more snippy, you're sniping at each other, you're a little bit more flustered, your fuse is shorter, whatever you want to call it, or you're just feeling down, sometimes you need to literally change the environment that you're in for a moment to kind of regroup and just regroup with each other. So the other, this week has been really stressful for TJ and I with work. Respectively, we've had a lot of things that we're on the hook for, and that we had to be accountable for, and things that were in the meeting, and meeting after meeting after meeting. But we made a decision yesterday to go for a bike ride, and it was maybe what was it, maybe like 45 minutes of from start to finish that we were gone.
Including when I bust your ass in basketball, or you're not including
that? We're including.
Just acquiring.
Okay, so maybe it was like an hour and a half of like activity where we were outside. TJ and I did play 1-on-1. We did go live. He essentially won, but
you cheated.
I did not cheat. We're not going to get into it.
You cheated.
I didn't cheat. Braxton.
You're talking to someone who plays basketball.
I'm sorry.
You traveled all the time. The whole time.
No.
You was double dribbling.
I didn't travel. I went on holiday, as people call it.
Okay. And, you got it.
Yeah, so we were both really stressed out. So we made a decision to just like stop and get out of the house and go for a little bike ride around the neighborhood and play a little basketball just to get some exercise and to just hang out with each other. And I like no shit, like even the fresh air made a difference. And I feel like it helped us, and it helped me individually, and I think it just helped us because it gave us an opportunity to just take like a collective sigh of relief. So as best as you can during this time, if you can change your environment, go for a walk, get outside, do something without risking your life or remaining socially distant, then do it. Because sometimes if you don't change your environment, all that stuff starts to build up and tensions rise. So that's my relationship tip for the week.
My tip, it could be relationship, it could be for life. During this new pandemic, I think it's very important that we allow for like we apologize for like the mood swings and stuff like that. I'm thinking about myself, right?
Yeah.
You try to stay strong, but sometimes you gotta like find ways to de-stress, right? And it's okay for you to, I guess, have that in this moment. I'm saying, I feel like this is one of the moments because we don't know. It's the unknown, and your mind plays tricks on you, and it's okay for you to be vulnerable. So, real simple, like you said.
I think it's true. You gotta give yourself. It sounds like you're saying you have to give yourself grace.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, Braxton,
What's up?
so what do you think about our relationship tips? How are they sounding? Are they up to the caliber of the wise words you're dispensing out to people?
All right, so TJ gonna be a little upset with me. I'm agreeing with you, Dani, on this one. Changing the background and taking that time out is very, very critical in a relationship, especially during this whole pandemic and everybody's at home together, working together, you're eating together, you're doing every single thing together. But taking that time out to just relax and just let everything just breathe, getting a breath of fresh air, riding a bike, going on a walk, just having small conversations about whatever it is, something that's just like out of the norm. Like, don't talk about anything about the pandemic going on. Don't talk about work. Just talk about how you guys feel about each other and just communicate, man. Just again, that change of scenery, that change of background, and taking that time out is very important. Just like when I was playing basketball, it's like sometimes in a situation of a game, it's going to get heated. Situation's going to get a little tense, and you're going to feel like you just got to keep going, got to keep going. But of course, we all have coaches in life, and that allows us to understand what their methodologies are of taking a time out, taking a break, letting your mind grasp what's going on so you can make the necessary adjustments without still overwhelming yourself about the action of play. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So taking that time out is very important in life, just as it is in sports. So that's my whole thing with changing that background. So I totally agree with what you said on that one.
Thank you. You know I'm smart.
TJ, don't be mad at me, man.
I'm not.
You know what?
Yours, I'll give you this one.
Okay.
Yours was,
I mean, yours wasn't wrong. It's just mine was better.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm just in a space where in life it's just like, you try to be perfect and sometimes you gotta give yourself grace, and that's where I'm at in my life. I just need to give myself grace.
I'm glad you are.
Well, TJ, you know, it's hard for us to be perfect in a relationship, especially for us guys, because our wives want us to not say do everything, but the things that we do, they want us to make sure that we do it to the best of our ability. Just like exactly again with basketball, coaches want us to perform at our highest potential. So we're not going to be perfect. So then again, what you said again is also true, that we have to acknowledge whenever we mess up or whenever we say something that's not understood or portrayed in a different way. So make sure we apologize and take ownership, just like we talked about earlier, about accountability of our actions and our words. So
definitely so.
Yeah, and TJ's been doing a good job at practice. So
good.
He's had his moments, but he's definitely like circled back and taking ownership and apologize and try to do better because and I've been trying to make sure, at least I think I've been like doing the best I can to give him the space to grace, and then only when I feel like absolutely necessary have to be like, okay, like you're tripping, like you got to get it together. So but not necessarily, but not harping on every little thing because otherwise, both of us would be just irritated all the time.
Right.
Well, thank you for that and for siding with me, of course. And now what we're going to do is we did kind of omit this segment for a couple of episodes here, but TJ brought up a good point about our Black History fact, right? And
especially even more now than ever, right? It's important that we embrace Black history more. Like, Black history is American history.
Yes.
We built this country.
Yes. We're dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody hates on us.
So I just think it's important that we showcase that we emphasize that, and and also allows us to just continue growing to learn more. So
absolutely. So I'll go first. And on this day, May 15th, when this episode drops, but in 1942, the 93rd Infantry activated and assigned to combat in the South Pacific. They were the first African American division formed during World War II. And I actually picked that one too because it reminded me just of my grandfather, because my grandfather was actually a Tuskegee Airman. So, and he fought in World War II. And I always just thought that, I didn't really know him very well. He passed when I was very young. I just always thought that was one of like the dopest things I had ever known about him. It's like I have, the family that were active during that time and were part of such an integral part of that entire, war scene of the Tuskegee Airmen. So it just seemed like a dope fact, and it kind of made me think of him.
That's dope.
Thank you.
Mine is Andre Marie Mabida. Mabida becomes Premier of Cameroon.
I saw that one.
May 15th, 1957.
Yes. So I guess it's equivalent of like president or
but
prime minister.
When I looked into it, he's also the first. Hold on. He's also the first Cameroonian to be elected member of the Parliament of the French National Assembly. So,
listen, Black people always being trailblazers wherever we go. So, unsurprising.
And now we can close this session up, and we can go into my word of the week.
Yeah. How are you going to try and stump me this week?
I don't know. It's always hard. You're on a roll right now.
I am on a roll right now because I've been spelling all these words correctly, Braxton. And TJ, you have to get what are you gonna call the white lady on your phone thing now?
I don't know.
You're not cheating like you did in basketball, are you?
No, I can't cheat like that. So, and first of all, I'm onto something with this whole basketball thing because I think I have something there, because that way it levels the playing field, right? You got to answer the question
so you get a shot.
So you can get a shot, and that way it makes it fair and balanced, because I'm clearly way better at trivia than you are, but you're
way better than basketball.
Slightly better at basketball than me.
Way better than basketball.
You're not gonna live that one down, Dani.
And it also depends on what the trivia is.
I feel like most trivia I'm better than you.
No, yeah, but again, if we go into like science, then you're a science teacher.
But if we go into a lot of subjects, I'm better than you.
Anyway.
I mean, if it was like
where did you graduate from college?
Towson University.
Where did I graduate from college?
Towson University.
Okay, so then.
Okay, I mean, don't do that, because we could take it up a notch.
Nah, you got it.
Because
where
did you go to grad school?
DeVry University.
Where did I go to grad school?
To
the
Johns Hopkins University.
Okay, thank you. But that's neither here nor there, because we both still have our masters.
Nah.
My
masters ain't messing with yours.
No, we're both smart. All right, so what is this word that you're going to try to spell me with? I'm going to really try to make sure I spell it right. I won't be embarrassed.
Interlocutor.
I'm sorry, you got to say it again.
Interlocutor.
Interlocutor.
Yep.
That's a tough one.
Can I have, I need a white lady
you want
to say
Karen?
it. I want a white lady to say it. Interlocutor. Okay, I need a definition.
All right. An interlocutor is someone who participates in a discussion or conversation, sometimes as a go-between. If you and your friend are in an argument and aren't speaking, a third friend could act as an interlocutor, delivering messages back and forth.
Interlocutor.
Yep. All
right, I'm just going to go for it.
Oh, no, go ahead. You can preface. I don't know this one, but I'm going to try it. Go ahead.
You You're a hater.
That's what you do.
That's my process.
Your process is to preface when you don't know it. So go ahead.
That's my process.
Go ahead.
And don't mock me.
Go ahead.
Interlocutor. INTERLOCUTER.
Ooh, close.
So close.
She almost got you, TJ.
Oh, you were so close.
Okay.
Bang, 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 bang. You're losing basketball and you're losing in there. See? Maybe in the basketball, we could throw in some words in there.
I'm still a better speller than you.
I mean, you got it, but I'm just, and on that note, you lost.
Really?
How that out? Let me hand one to you.
What? Sir,
Take that out.
Okay. You're gonna need me.
I always need you. That's why I married you.
Exactly.
And now we're gonna take a moment and we're gonna have a little break from our sponsor.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gaines Load and Lock grips by Gaines Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainesSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And you too can embrace the process by using our code LOVERS10 at Gaines, GAINZ, sportsgear.com. And now, back to the show. And now we are back.
Yes. It is time for us to talk to not only friends of the show, but our actual family. Like, we all have the same last name, y'all. Like, that type of family. Here we have with us, virtually, of course, because we're staying safe, is Braxton Byerson. Author.
Hey, what's going on, family?
Yes, life coach, motivational speaker, media specialist, all of the things, okay? So, yes, this is TJ's cousin.
Cousin. And I'll tell you a little funny story. So, I met my cousin. So, the Byerson family is like really big.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we can probably have our own like island somewhere and be able to populate it. Like,
very loud.
This is true indeed.
So I met Braxton when I was I met Brad first.
Yeah.
I met Brad first because my grandmother was like, you have a cousin who plays basketball over here.
Yeah.
So then Brad. And then by meeting Brad, I found out it was three of them. Like it's three of them.
Yes.
So then there's Brad, Brandon, and Braxton. Braxton is the baby.
Yes, the brothers.
Now,
the brothers Byerson.
They all play basketball. So they were all hooping. They're like legends in Richmond. And the reason why I said that is I went to homecoming this year for their centennial. He's also a Q. I know. World, we're sorry, but
root to the good bros who's listening.
But we was out there, and like when we was like walking the streets, they was like, "There go Brad, there go Braxton." We're like, I've never seen nothing like that. But the funny story was just that we didn't get to know each other growing up, but when we met, it was just like it was like we met. I mean, it was like we knew each other our whole lives. So
y'all definitely clicked like instantly. It was and especially that first family reunion. It was like 2010.
Yeah, I just got off line.
Yeah, that was the first. Yep. I remember that.
Like, oh my God, I joke about it all the time. I'm like, y'all are just the southern versions of the Byersons I know from New York, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's more of them. Like,
how many Byersons there are? So, Cuzzo, I appreciate you for coming on and rocking with us.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys, man. I'm honored to even be on the show right now. This is so surreal. I told myself a couple weeks ago that I'm gonna be on somebody's podcast, somebody's virtual webinar show or something real soon, and you guys made it happen. So I really appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
Definitely, that's our pleasure. So we always start, or always try to remember to start with like a little bit of an icebreaker. Um, and this question that we ask our guests excuse me, what are the kindest or wisest words that someone has ever told you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Throughout the years, I've gotten a lot of
Yeah.
kind of nice words and nice gems and everything. Um, I'll go with this one. And this one it still hits home every single time. Uh and I'm paraphrasing. Somebody told me, it said, someone who loves you will challenge you to do better and do great. But somebody who doesn't love you will let you stay the same and settle for mediocrity.
Mm, that is a very good gem right there, and I definitely think that can apply to
That
a lot of situations.
a lot of situations, and I remember that it was uh 10th grade, I believe. I forgot what teacher it was, but I still remember it was 10th grade when my teachers told me that. And ever since then, up to this point today, I still remember her telling me that, and that was like one of the nicest things or wisest things that someone has ever said to me, and it will always resonate with me, with my children, with my wife, with my rest of my family, everybody that I come in encounter with. Realize and recognize what love truly means, especially when it comes into terms with success or with business. So yeah.
That's dope. It's funny. I heard. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people listen have Brax. I don't know if you have seen like on social media that woman named Tabitha Brown. She's a black woman, like the vegan,
Hmm.
and she's got a really like soothing voice. And
Yeah, I've seen her.
yeah,
Yeah.
so and I mean, I know she wasn't the first person to say it, but it's the first time it kind of like stuck out in my head. And she was saying that what what somebody else what somebody else thinks of you is not your business.
Mm.
I like that one because
Mm.
even
That's tough.
yeah, like I feel like I think that I do my best to really like be good to people and to not and so that way people when people talk about me when I'm not in the room, that it's hopefully generally positive things to say. But even in the event that it's not, or when people are worried about what other people have to say, it's like
Hmm.
what people think about you isn't your business.
Right.
You know,
Right. And oh, my
yeah.
bad. Go ahead. I,
No,
was- I was doing I was doing some research the other day, getting some gems and some ideas on different types of content, from when I start speaking, back after all the COVID stuff is over, and I came across a video from Steve Harvey, and he said something along the lines of what you just said, and he said, no matter what you do, you can be doing the greatest thing every single time you step out to do something great for somebody. It's always going to be a problem to somebody. So
mm,
after he said that, he was like, "You just keep doing what you do. Be positive, and don't let anybody diminish your character or get you to a point to where you have to react to their negative ideas or standards."
definitely got it. Well, thank you for that. Help entertaining us with that. Icebreaker because I just like it. Like we like to get the juices flowing, get people marinating on some things here. Um,
Hmm.
but Brax, you've been, obviously when you were at Virginia Union, you were a student, right? And then you were
Hmm.
all obviously a lifetime of an athlete. You've been a coach,
Hmm.
right? You coached
Hmm.
at your alma mater, was it Thomas
Yeah.
Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thomas Dale, yep.
yeah. And you've done all these things, right? And you carved this great path for yourself, especially in this athletic world. So, like, what prompted you to like make the shift to life coach and motivational speaker? Like, what was that about?
Right. So like you said, I have a lifetime of basketball ever since. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the year, but I know I was like 7 or 8 when Pop started taking us to the gym and getting it in.
Mhm.
And from that time up to 2014, when the basketball started bouncing for me, in regards to being a player, um, I always had a thing of inspiring people, motivating people, having them to push to their full potential and doing things out of the norm that's going to make them successful, getting out of their comfort zone, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I graduated from Union, I had the opportunity, blessed by God, to go overseas to play professional basketball.
Mhm.
And I was over in South America, and I was over there for half a year. I was over there for 6 months, and I was playing. And then all of a sudden, I get a Facebook message from the team owner over there, and the message pretty much just said, um, we're not going to need your services anymore. We'll get you your check and we'll book a flight and all this other stuff. So pretty much I got cut from the team. All right. So I'm cool with that. I had talked to a couple of guys that went professional overseas before, and it was like the whole overseas process is cutthroat. So you're going to experience some things that you never thought you were going to experience before.
Mhm.
So I was like, when I got the message, I'm like, okay. So I hit my agent up and I asked him. I said, "Yo, is this real or what's going on?" So he made a call, find out to confirm that it was true. So I got my check. They put me on the plane, came back home, and after that, went over to China. Went over to China for another 5 months. It was like a tour type thing to get some more exposure to keep playing professional basketball.
Mhm.
And when I came from China, I was supposed to go to Australia, but my stateside agent uh, tried to, I guess, ask for a little bit more money than the team was trying to offer, and then the team declined that counter offer. Then that was
Mhm.
pretty much the end of my whole professional basketball career.
Mhm.
So now I'm back stateside and I'm looking like, okay, what the heck is next up? Like, what's the next step?
Mhm.
Right. So I talked to mom and she's like, I think you should go substitute teach. I'm like, oh nah, you bugging. Like substitute teaching is not my thing. Because I told myself when I was young, I was like, I'm not gonna teach anybody's kids. Like, that's not me. That's not what I do.
It's definitely
So
not.
I was right. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So my first substitute teaching gig was at elementary school.
Mhm.
And it was like, that was like one of the hardest things because, they got line leaders and they got specific things that they do at each time. And I was like, that was my first time. I'm like, oh, nah, this is crazy. Like, I'm never doing elementary school again. So then I went to middle school.
Mhm.
And when I went to middle school, I got in contact with the AD of the middle school. He knew me from when I played in high school. And
Mhm.
that goes to show like the relationships that you build, like when you're younger and your
Yeah.
manners and all the respect that you give people, all of that is going to come back to you. Right.
Yeah.
So when he hit me up, he was like, yo, we need a basketball coach. We haven't been doing so well past couple years. I'm like, okay. He was like, oh, it's the girls team. I was like, dog, what are you setting me up for? So I'm like, all right. So I go and tell the wife, I'm like, look, I was extended an opportunity to go be a basketball coach for a girls team. And she was like, take it. I was
Yeah.
like, so I'm like, all right. So I took it. And the first 8 seasons in which the school was built, it was pretty much a new school. The first
Mhm.
8 seasons, they would win like 2 games, 3 games a season. It was a total of 10 games.
Mhm.
And if you go to the playoffs, it's an extra 3, right?
Mhm.
So my first year, we
Mhm.
went 1-9, right?
Wow.
1-9 was terrible because I
Yeah.
was new to the whole coaching thing. Like I played, I'm good with playing. I'll give you a bucket of here and there. I'll do what I got to do. But coaching is totally different because now you're relying on middle school girls to
Mhm.
get the job done for you to win games, right?
Yes. The middle school
And
girls
so
are
I'm lining all right. So I'm lining all this up, And the second year, we win 2 games more than what we won the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Third year, we go 500. We go 5-5. Make it to the playoffs, lose in the first round, right?
Okay.
And then the following year, we make it to the second round, all right, of the playoffs. And then my last year coaching middle school girls, I went to the semifinals. All right, the game before the championship game, my girls ended up losing. It was a heartbreaker. All right,
Yeah.
but I said all that to say how I got to the whole motivational thing was first getting cut from the team in South America, and then coaching girls, because coaching girls, I had to practice a whole different level of patience, because working with girls, you have to break it down for them in order for them to understand it. So me thinking like, okay, at first I was thinking as a high school boy, I was like, okay, do this, do that, do this, because high school boys they dunking already, they shooting threes, they doing this. I had to start from square one with these young ladies. Yeah, so I had to teach them how to dribble. I had to teach them how to actually shoot a jump shot without a ball, get form. I had to do all that stuff. So me teaching those young ladies, practicing that patience, motivating them to keep on going and keep on doing what they want to do in order for them to be successful. And that whole transition from winning one game in the whole season to winning 9 games in the whole season, it's like that whole transition right there was just a motivational piece for me. And when I started teaching at the high school level, that's a whole other thing. And I could go on for days with this, but teaching at the high school level was a whole transition as well. And the kids that were at Thomasdale, it was like Thomasdale is like it's a very diverse school.
Yeah.
So you have the rich side of town and you have the not so rich side of town. It's not extremely poor, but it's a divide that you can tell.
Like the
Exactly. So I would have kids come to my class. Some would skip class because they wanted to talk to me about the issues that they were having. And so it got to a point that administration was getting on me, like, Mr. Byerson, we understand that you have a rapport with the students, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But we need you to teach more. So I was like, all right, I'm trying my best. So kids keep coming. Then I finally went to the administrator. I'm like, listen, these kids are getting passes from their teachers.
Yeah.
They're getting passes from their teachers to come to my classroom. They're saying they're going to the bathroom, but they're coming to my classroom.
Exactly.
And so, and my door had a screen on it to where you couldn't see to the outside. So you had to actually open the door. All right. So when I opened the door, the students came in or whatever. So I went to the administrator and I told him, I said, look, these kids are getting passes. Like, we got to tell these other teachers stop writing passes to my classroom, because like, I'm not going to turn them away if they're walking in my classroom crying. Like, I'm going to ask them what's going on.
Exactly.
So there are like many different types of situations that went on, like abuse in the family towards mom, abuse in the family towards siblings, being abandoned, not having food at home. The list goes on and on. And I was just finding myself like doing more motivating and more inspiring to the students. And some of the students weren't even mine at that, doing more of that stuff than actually teaching. So when the wife and I had a baby boy, I was like, man, I need something different.
Yeah.
I need something different. And so I ended up not following through with my teacher license, because I was on a provisional. They gave me 3 years to finish up with the teaching license and stuff and get everything certified. I ended up not following through with that, and I don't regret it. And we'll get to that later. I don't regret it, because right now, the space that I'm in, once we found out that we had a baby boy, the space that I'm in right now, it gives me that opportunity to enjoy family time with the boys and the wife. It gives me time to do things that the wife needs me to do because she's at work. It gives me that time to reflect to myself and think. And ultimately, it gives me time to reach a whole lot of other students, not even just high school, but middle school as well, colleges, and hopefully, the Lord's will, it'll reach out to corporate. All right. So my whole thing is like inspiring people to be better, inspiring them to be leaders, motivating them to just be the best individuals that they can possibly be. So again, with all of that, just everything that has happened in my life, from getting cut from a professional team, which I never thought would happen,
Mhm.
to teaching and coaching middle school girls basketball,
Mhm.
and to just seeing these young children just hurt pretty much every day, coming to my class about different situations. All of that has just come full circle to why I do what I do right now today, to reach not just Richmond or Chester or Chesterfield, but nationally, and Lord's will again globally. I want to travel and I want to speak to millions of people, just helping them to overcome obstacles just like I did, and giving them tips on how to succeed in life.
True that. Thank you for that, because like I really didn't even. And again, like I said, we're family, and I didn't even realize that all of that had happened. Like I knew some pieces of it, but obviously we never actually like sat down and had a whole like conversation like we're having right now about that. And that makes a lot more sense. And when you position it that way, it does make a lot of sense of like how that transition would happen, because there's so much motivation that goes into athletics from the athlete perspective and from the coaching perspective, because it's about, you're trying to yield the best out of people, and or trying to put your best foot forward as an athlete. So I can see why it's the parallel between what you did and what you're doing.
Right, right.
What what do people that you work with need help with the most? It seems.
Ooh, people that I work with the most, right now is setting goals. A lot of people, they want to do things and they want to be successful, but they don't have goals, so they don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, again, people have dreams, people have visions, and people have everybody has a dream, everybody has a vision, everybody has a purpose, right? But with those three things, you have to have goals. And if you don't have those goals, then you don't know what your starting point is. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So for example, my dream was to speak globally, nationally, to students and student athletes about being successful, and being the best version of themselves. Right. So once I figured out what that meant, because I'm a student athlete myself and I understood the process that it took to get to where I was, or where I am now, I started writing goals down.
Mm-hmm.
And once you write down goals and you start looking at those goals every single day, which you're supposed to do, I started sending them to a mentor, a mentor of a guy that was the parent of one of Brad's old teammates, and he's a professional speaker. So initially, I was like, I don't know if I should send it to him or if I should send it to anybody else, because if I send it to anybody else that's not a professional speaker, how are they going to relate to me and let me know if these goals are realistic?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up sending them to him. And once he saw my goals, he was like, Brax, you don't need my help. I'll mentor you and let you know what steps to keep taking in order to get where you want to get. But these goals right here are like perfect, because I went to school for marketing. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows that goals, you have to be smart. All right, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time based. Right. So once you set those goals, you'll know what your first step needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
aside from the vision and the purpose. And what I feel with most people that I work with now, they're not setting those goals, to get that first step, and that's what's, giving them that struggle. So goal setting is one key aspect of being successful. All right, along with writing down your dreams and your vision, you also need to write down your goals. And that's what some of the people struggle with that I work with today.
Yeah, it's funny. Another, like, some of the things that you're speaking to are things that I'm hearing, like, with at work, because I'm dealing with a lot of, like, the social emotional wellness of families and students during this time,
Mm-hmm.
and being home. And we talk about, like, these 5 competencies, right? About what
Mm-hmm.
people kind of possess to be these, like, to be kind of these, like, whole, fully recognized human beings and fully realized human beings. And one of them is, so it's like self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, so on and so forth. And one of the, like, sub components of it is goal setting. And,
Mm-hmm.
it too was one thing that I was, in working on and stuff, is that, like, a wish or an idea, once you put a time stamp on it, once you put a time frame on it, becomes a goal. And
Right.
I thought that was a really great way to kind of conceptualize it, because we always have things that we wish we could do, that we, dream about, but it stays that way until you say, I'm gonna do this by this time. This wish or this dream or this aspiration is gonna come true by this time. Because then once you do make it into, like, a SMART goal, right? Which I talked to
Mm-hmm.
time, then it becomes something that is attainable, and it becomes something that is, that you can work toward. So I think that that's
Right.
very to talk about. It makes a lot of sense, again, to me, why the people that you work with, that's something, that the area that they need a lot of support in, because we, a lot of people are idea people, but sometimes we don't know how to get from, like, point A to point B. We just kind of, we
Right.
see B on the distance, and we like that B would be great, but I haven't given myself the slightest bit of information on how I'm going to get there.
Right.
And some people just sometimes wish and wait for it to fall into their lap. Um,
Yeah.
so one question. Oh, sorry,
We have a guest
a
here.
second special guest. You know what that's about with the boys. So,
Oh yeah.
um, so one thing I wanted to also ask you, right, is, you know, what are some of the benefits of having and obtaining, like, a life coach, like, besides the fact that it's, I mean, obviously we know it's there to help, but in your
Mm-hmm.
experience, what has been what are the benefits of somebody utilizing someone such as yourself in their life?
The benefits that you get from obtaining a life coach, and there are many, but I'm going to highlight a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
One is it gives you that a life coach gives you that reassurance that you can do whatever it is that you want to if you put your mind to it and you put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that life coach is that person that is going to help you, is going to push you, is going to challenge you. Like I said earlier, the person that loves you is going to challenge you and make sure that you level up, not just watch you stay at mediocrity, right? So that life coach is that catalyst to get your ideas off of the ground and get them rolling with goal setting and doing whatever it is that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because the little sidebar from that, the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because there are a lot of ideas there that have not been put into fruition because people they probably never wrote those goals down, or they never just put anything to action because they were thinking about it, but they never had anybody to guide them on the steps to take to get that idea out for people to understand and people to see,
Mm-hmm.
right? And another thing that people benefit from obtaining a life coach is uh, pressure. They don't have that pressure of failing. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have the added pressure of failing. You see what I'm saying? Because in life you're going to fail, but how you react to that failure is what makes you. All right. So you're going to come to a point in life where you make mistakes and you do things that you weren't supposed to do, but it's life. So what's the next step after you make the mistake and you acknowledge that mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that life coach helps you get to that next level after something has transpired. What's the next step? What's the next level that I can take in order for me to keep going and build from what I've been through? So people get the benefit of a release of pressure, and they get a boost of confidence from a life coach. And there are many other benefits, like I said, of obtaining a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
But those are just a couple that very well stick out to me when I help people.
Dope.
That's amazing.
No, I mean, and it makes sense. Sometimes we all need someone to talk to, or we all need someone who can guide us and help us. So I think it's important. I think it's dope.
Right.
Stepped out there, and it's definitely important when people can relate, right? Because you've lived life, So
Hmm.
you're a student athlete, so you have that. You're Greek, you have that aspect. You work,
Hmm.
you have so many different aspects, so you can relate with different people from young to old. So that's super dope.
Right. 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 And like you said, we all need somebody to talk to, and it's two people right now on a consistent basis that I talk to every day, and
Mm.
that's God and my wife. And talking to those two people, it's like it feels like you can conquer the world. To be honest, like when you talk to God in the morning, then you talk to your wife throughout the day, just even just saying hi or what she did like 15 minutes ago, that right there is just like you always need somebody to talk to, just bounce an idea off of, and get some feedback. Man, it just feels like you can just conquer the world off of that for real.
Definitely, and you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because that allows us to transition to the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Married, I support it. you know,
I
listen, I always support it.
don't,
Listen,
I don't think you have a choice, yo.
it's tough. It's
We don't know it.
and I think it. That's why our show to me is so important because I want to show people like, listen, people see Dani and TJ and they think it's perfect, and shit is not perfect. I'm not saying it's
No, sir.
but relationships are not always perfect. Some like we go through rough patches,
Right.
we have hard times, and all that. Like me and Dani always say, relationships is not a job, but it takes work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Right.
finding the right partner means the world. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
you speak to
Mm-hmm.
God, you speak to your wife, and you feel like you're unstoppable. And I agree with that. Like my wife keeps me balanced, and she gets me, and she supports me. She's my
Mm-hmm.
home. Like I don't know where I would be without her. So, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to succeed without her, but she gives me that. She's my
Mm-hmm.
security. She's my safety net.
Right.
And
Right. And that's important for. Yeah, you got some cool points on that one too, TJ. Um, but that's safety net, man. You're definitely on point with that. It's like when you feel like everything is just like crumbling down, you
Mm-hmm.
go home and you talk to your wife, and it's like, oh, I'm good now.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to get that off my chest. It's like somebody I can talk to who's not going to judge me, somebody who's not going to bash me in my head because I did this or I did that, but somebody who's going to help me get through this, and we're going to get through it together, and our bond is going to be even stronger than it was before. So you're definitely on point with that safety net, man.
so, how do you balance your work effort, aspirations with raising a family and being a husband? That's a lot of hats.
That dude, it is a lot of hats, man. So I recently have changed my schedule to
Mm.
make sure that I get everything in that I need to get in. So my morning starts at 5 o'clock or either 5:30. All right, and that's devotion time. Everybody's still asleep. I go make sure the boys are good. I make sure the wife is still good. I go read my devotion and do whatever I need to do. Brush my teeth, wash my face, whatever the case may be. So then the first first hour after that, I am getting the boys' clothes ready, getting their toothpaste and everything ready, face wash, all that good stuff, getting that stuff straight, clothes out. And then around that time, that's when the wife wakes up and she gets ready for work. And we have a little chit chat about what's going on for the day, what she got planned, things we want to do, whatever the case may be. And then get the boys to school. Then I come back home. And right now, the wife works at home a couple of days, or she'll go into the office and do what she has to do. But excuse me.
You good?
But that time that after I drop the boys off from, let's say, 9 o'clock to 4:30 when I have to leave to go pick the boys up, it's me working on everything that I need to work on. I'm answering emails, sending emails out, dropping content, shooting videos, hitting up people for when everything is over with COVID, college orientations, high school assemblies at the beginning, everything you name up. I'm doing everything that I can for my job. I'm marketing stuff. Sidebar, I just started a new business for my marketing. It's called B7 Marketing. So it's a social media marketing company, creating more visibility for nonprofits and other startup organizations. So all the life coaching stuff, all the marketing stuff, all the business stuff goes on between 9 o'clock and 4:30. And so by that time, 4:30, I go pick up the boys, and I'm mixing and mingling with them. They probably mad at me right now because we're not rolling on the floor playing around, but they know Daddy's on the call. But this right now is our time from time we get home at like 5 o'clock till about 8:30, 8:45. We're rolling around the floor playing around and doing everything that we need to do as a family. And then the wife is just sitting at us, looking and messing around, laughing and stuff. Then they go to bed, and then that's the time for me and the wife. We talk. We just sit on the couch and chill, watch TV, talk about what's going on at work, talk about what's going on TV, everything else that we got going on. So it's just like time management, like Dani mentioned earlier, time management of everything that you have going on. You got to make sure you balance that. You got to make sure. All right, let me take back. Don't balance it. Make it. You have to be in rhythm, just like playing basketball again. Mm-hmm. Like when you on a fast break, you get a steal, you get a fast break, and your teammate passes you want to pull up for a jump shot in rhythm. All right, so it's just like second nature. Everything has to flow the way you need it to flow in order for things to drop right in place. All right, so from me waking up and doing my devotion to getting the boys ready, to talking to the wife, taking the boys to school, picking them up, playing with them, chilling with the wife, going to bed, and just doing that all over again every single day on repeat motion. So just time management, man, and just being in rhythm with everything that's going on, and just being mindful of every piece of the pie that you have to take a bite out of, and that you're not neglecting one thing because you need more time for this. You see what I'm saying? So you make sure you want to always take a piece of the pie and make sure you're getting your full dose of whatever it is that you need to get for that day.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, an area that I think we could definitely benefit from because
agreed.
We
suck.
No, I won't say we suck.
Okay,
time management is definitely a struggle for us together. Maybe TJ a little bit more than me, but it's still like definitely an area of struggle of like carving out time for like time by ourselves, time for just each other, time, family time. And I think that's something that you really might, you really could be onto something too, because especially, we're all having to adjust. And the reality is that right now, home is work, home is school, home is the gym,
home is everything.
And so you don't even have these like where when you come home from work and you're like, okay, I'm home from work now, I can like, I can switch gears and happening like that for a lot of people right now. For me, like I'm finding that there are days, especially in my busier days with meetings, I'll get up at 7:45 and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be downstairs at my laptop by 8, and then I'll just
Mm.
glued there from 8 to 1, and then I come up for
Mm-hmm.
air. I'll take a break. I'll get something to eat, and I will I'll go back to it again until 5 o'clock. Or even before we would started recording this episode, I
Mm-hmm.
like I was still answering emails, and I know like they kind of wait, but then I'm like, it's that balance of like, dang, like I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing, you know what I mean? Like 'cause
Mm-hmm.
everything can be done virtually. It's almost
Right.
like you're obligated to like do it. I know so many people who are saying like they're working even harder now because there is no
Mm-hmm.
there is no time management because
Right.
you're beholden to this like either you're being micromanaged or you're micromanaging yourself type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea
Right.
of carving out that time to be with family. Like one thing I really like I'm still trying to work on is like I really, really, really want to get better at going to bed at an earlier time. And
Mm-hmm.
but it just always kind of seems to escape me. And um but I also am learning, I think I'm realizing about myself as I get older is that like I'm not requiring as much sleep as I did when I was,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple years ago. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
parenthood, you kind of get used to running off fumes a lot more.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think that that's really important, and I like that idea of like just getting up. And it's I and it's, the last thing I say about this though too is like I know you say like you get up and you do like your devotional, and what I what I do find is that even though it's not as intentional, is one of my favorite parts of the day is when I'm up before everybody else in my house, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, and, I might be like straightening up in the kitchen or like, making myself something to eat, but it's like this moment where I have like a moment to myself in my
Right.
where no one's calling my name,
Mm-hmm.
it's really I'm realizing how important and necessary it is for me in order to kind of get my day going the way in a much better fashion. So
Right.
what I'll do and just listening to you is like I'll set my alarm a little bit earlier just to make sure
Mm-hmm.
I can carve out that half an hour to 45 minutes before the rest of the house wakes up where I can just kind of take
Right.
it in and set the tone because it isn't healthy to
Mm-hmm.
dive right into work, and I'm realizing that, and it's stressful. And
Right.
yeah, so
Right. And my thing, these smartphones that we have are a very good tool, man. Because I went to I was just looking at my phone, just going through different things, trying to learn new things on my phone, and I found the bedtime little notification in the alarm clock, and you set what time you go to bed, and you set what time you wake up, and then it'll send you a reminder for both, and then that way, that's what gave me that extra boost to get myself in bed at a certain time, to get up at a certain time, because like you said, in the morning, that 30 to 45 minutes of just you time, like, it's relaxing and it gives you that time to put your mind at ease, to give yourself that time to just pretty much take in what's going to happen today, or
mhm.
what things is going to happen, and what you can do to adjust if something doesn't go the way it needs to go. So having that free time and that free space to give yourself time to think, before the house wakes up, because once the house wakes up, you already know it's going to get crazy. So
Exactly. It's go time, and it honestly too. Like I want to do that because I'm
I'm doing it right now.
what
I
us.
just know
Oh
the
yeah.
bedtime schedule.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. Yeah, and I
I didn't
stopped
know
it.
this was a thing. So
Oh yeah,
thank you, guys.
yeah, it's on there.
no problem, man, no problem.
Sometimes I don't, but and then it's so imperative because I'll wake up and I already have like 5-6 emails in my inbox, and it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning, and like the people that I'm working with are emailing me 5:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. And I'm like, yo, y'all are tripping. And
But that kind of goes back to like my tip. Like you got to give yourself that grace because
Yes.
you're pushing yourself
Mhm.
because of that, right? There are no boundaries technically because our home is our job now. Our home is our restaurant.
Right.
Home is our activity, like I said earlier. So sometimes we just have to give ourselves that grace that, you know what, I'm gonna get to that email when I wake up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I feel bad because somebody else is just up earlier. That doesn't mean that they're working harder than you. It doesn't mean
and
it doesn't take away from the work that you are doing yourself.
Absolutely. And I even like I'm taking this coming Monday off because I hit a wall last week and I know I'm working hard and I'm busting my ass. And and like there's also the factors that, you know, I have to regulate the other parts of my life too, because I want to spend more intentional quality time with Tatum, because we're together all the time, but I'm not always like spending quality time with my daughter. I want to get this house. You know, we moved at the beginning of the top of this coronavirus pandemic, and make efforts to make this house feel more like a home. I want to finish up some loose ends with you know, from the transition from the move and everything like that. We still have some loose ends to tie up from that, and I want to make sure I give myself that. But I can't get that done if Saturday is spent one day doing this and Sunday is getting ready for the work week. So, and I'm like, I need. So like I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna divvy this up. I'm gonna take this extra day so that way one of these 3 days I can just chill and spend time with my family, and then I can do the other 2 days, you know, mixing it up of like, you know, checking items off of my at home to-do list, because those are just as important, you know, even though they're not the ones that get me paid. But so you're dropping gems, and you're helping us, even as you're talking, you're kind of helping clear things up for us, and or affirming the things that we already knew we needed to do.
I appreciate that.
We have 2 more questions. This might be a little dark, but I do think it's very important.
It's a little heavy.
That we ask the question.
Okay.
Black man, and a father to 3 black boys. How do you navigate a world where it's like you're born with a target on your back?
Ooh, you know what? I really to be completely honest, I really never thought about talking to the boys about this. And I'll say this because I pray for my family like crazy every single morning. And I understand that more than prayer has to take place in order to align yourself with what God has for you, or what you desire in this life. More than prayer has to take place. But to me, and this is just me, if I put that image into the boys are like crazy smart. And once I put that image into their minds, they're like going to constantly ask me about what happened with this. What do you mean by this? What is this? I don't want to keep answering that question, because there are so much more positive things on the other side that I could be teaching them about, like entrepreneurship, being a dentist like mommy, owning your own business, owning a franchise of whatever it is. There are so many other positive things that I could be teaching them instead of pouring or giving them information on the negative stuff. Now, it's not that I don't want to let them know that these things are occurring, but at this age right now, they soak up every single thing. I just want to wait and talk it over with the wife as well. I want to make sure that we wait and tell them at a good time for them to understand what actually is going on, or what actually happened. You see what I'm saying? Because right now it's like me, and it's just how I am. It's like I'll focus on more of the positive than I would negative, and that's just how I've always been. And so
I've never thought about it that way. But for you, do you have like a time, or because being a black man, there's certain things you got to kind of like teach. Black kids, like, don't wear outside in certain areas because you might be specifically like If you're driving in your car,
Right.
don't be like, like
Right.
to like be respectful to police, like because the
Mm-hmm.
you got to get home, right? Like don't talk back to them
Exactly.
and
Right.
kind of compliant because
Right.
we don't have those luxuries as black men to be ourselves, right? Especially now
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
we're big, so
Right.
automatically we're gonna be looked at as scary.
Exactly. So one thing that I do and I take pride in is being an example for them, because they are like continuously watching me with every single thing that I do. Like if we were to take a camera and like put a hidden camera in the house, like everything that I do, you will see the boys do at some point in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my job to be an example for them, from opening the door for mommy so she can get in the car, or just giving mommy a kiss, or any type of affection towards mommy, just letting her know that I love her, and also opening the door for other people, talking to people with respect. And I have a lot of parents that were or are police officers or law enforcement officers. And when they see me talk to them in either Wawa or Food Line, the boys see me talking to these police officers, and they know to look them in their eyes, speak to them with respect, and speak up, and to not be afraid of police officers. Because if I were to show them the videos of these young men that have been in these situations, young ladies that have been in a situation with police officers, like I told you before, the boys are smart. They're going to see that, and they're going to see a police officer, and it's like, oh no, I don't want to go near this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when they saw me conversing with police officers that I know, and they see police officers at their daycare all the time, a couple of parents of police officers or firefighters, they'll say, "Oh, Daddy, he's a police officer," and he'll say, "Hi, Mr. Officer." So me being that example and them seeing that is way better than me telling them, "Yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that." So me being that example and them seeing what I'm doing will allow them to copy what Daddy's doing, so they can be put in a great situation, or a better situation than what it would be like if they were disrespectful or doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Well, I think that's a great way to kind of. I mean, I think that's a good approach to take, especially like just to kind of give a little context. Like Braxton's boys are very young, like they're all under the age of 5, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Your heart, you and Christina, God bless you.
That's the prototype.
Triple threat 2.0.
Oh my God, I don't know if I'm built for that, but I think that I think it is important that to me, what I'm hearing from what you're saying is like right now, it's almost like it's about instilling that black boy joy before you have to kind of hit them to the negativity and the danger out there. But it's not about just saying like this is just locking in their fresh minds that everything is all bad and this is you have to always be on guard, because it is a reality that they have to they're going to grow up in, but it's just as imperative that they have that the positivity and the joy in their life too, so that way there's balance in who they are as young men.
And you said it's really important that they're looking up to you, right? So whatever you do, it will follow, and I think that's so important because last week's episode we was discussing about like how do you in the media there's a lot of sexual misconduct and stuff like that going on. It's like how do you teach these men not to do that, and you're doing it, right? So I think that's so important. Like you're showing them to open up a door for women. You're showing them to be you're showing them how to be good men, period.
Right.
And it's not really color, but you're teaching
exactly
good men first, and that's important too. So I applaud you.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Raising 3 young kings over there.
Yeah, one of them in here now. He's sleepy.
Oh,
I put them to bed, so they waiting on me. They get a break. They get to go to bed a little later tonight.
yeah. They
Cause I
watch. So this is a great time because then we got this last question, so that way you can put your daddy duty hat on.
all right.
So how does Braxton stay motivated and inspired? Because
Oof.
that's your that's your ministry, that's your calling to do that for others. But then how do you do that for yourself?
That is a great question, and it is also an easy question
All right.
because there are 4 people in my household
Mm-hmm.
that I cannot let down,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I stay motivated. Especially looking at his face right now, and when I see Braxton, when I see Declan, and most certainly when I see my wife, it's like I cannot let them down because if I let them down, who else is going to take care of them? I know God's going to take care of them, but who on earth is going to take care of them if I don't do it? Like God gave her to me, God gave us our 3 children, so and God gave me a gift. God gave her a gift of dentistry. God gave me a gift of being a life coach, motivating, inspiring. So when I look at them, it's just like I gotta make it happen, and that's one of my catchphrases that I give out to people is like, if you got to make it happen, like by all means, because when teaching was no longer for me, it's like I had to I had to make amends, and I had to make things happen for me to continue to provide for my family, contribute to. Yeah, you hear him in the back, right?
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah, contribute to the household and make sure everything is going the way it needs to go. And so if I am hard on myself and I just give up at the drop of a dime, um, because something was hard or somebody told me no, it's like what service you're doing your boys and your wife a disservice because you just giving up when times get hard. But that's the thing. It's like you got to stay on track because you got to have patience and you got to persevere through all the hard times, all the troubles of life, because life is going to hit you hard.
it is.
Life is going to hit you hard. So me staying inspired just by looking at them and touching them and feeling them every day is just like I gotta make it happen for them because when it's all said and done and Lord calls me home, I gotta leave something for them for my grandchildren and my children's children and children. So it's just that's what my inspiration comes from. Just seeing my family every day, waking up and knowing that I gotta make it happen for them. So that's where my motivation and inspiration comes from.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Well, listen, Brax, cuz thank you so much for doing this with
Yeah.
us, and we
Oh no, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
yes, you left us motivated and invigorated and with new fresh ideas for how we can kind of tackle some of the things that we've been dealing with even in our own daily lives. And so you can go put the little one to bed because that's gonna be on
All
our.
right.
Can you just let everybody know where they can find you?
All right. You can find me on everything. You can find me on Facebook. Just type in the name Braxton Byerson. You'll find me there. You can find me on Instagram. Twitter handle is Braxton Byerson _7. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just type in the name Braxton Byerson. You'll find me. You can hit me up on my website, www.braxb.org. And that's pretty much Twitter. You can type in Braxton Byerson. I'll pop right up. Every single every social media platform that you can possibly think of, just type in Braxton Byerson and you'll find me.
Got it. And we'll make sure we include all those inside the
show
show
notes.
notes. So thank you so much. This was amazing. Folks, this has been yet another episode of Lovers Quarrel. You know that you can find us on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show. You can find us on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7. You can email us your feedback, comments, concerns at loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. As always, you know that I am your girl, Dani.
And I'm your guy, TJ.
And you know that we fuss.
We fight, but we love. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.